I remember like telling my mom, I was like, Mom, I can make money loving Mamma Mia and dressing in the 1970s, like fashion trends. Like what? Like I can make money doing what I love and sharing it with other people.
What's up, everybody? It's Jack Flynn, and this is the Pure World Podcast. Let's get it started.
What's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Rob.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Emily Stevens.
And we are Pure World. It's good to have you here. This is a podcast, and you know that because you're listening and watching.
Podcast number 1.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. We're in this awesome Airbnb. We've been in Nashville for 1 day now, and it's been a little crazy. We've had some things happen to us that have been odd. We've had some great things happen to us that have been fun, and it's been a good time meeting Emily for the first time in person and checking out this awesome city.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about Nashville?
I'm good. I mean, that's a real good question for Emily because she lives here.
Right.
I do live here, and it's been so incredible to have you guys here and making the trip all the way to Nashville. That is amazing. But I do love living here. I go to college here, and I'm currently a sophomore, and it's just been the best time. I cannot imagine living anywhere else.
Cool. So you've been in college for 2 years now?
Yes.
Have you been to Nashville before you went to college up here, or was that your first introduction to like the city and the state?
Yeah, so I'd gone on vacation here. I'd gone on a couple of mission trips,
Cool.
But it was when I was younger, so I didn't really remember it a lot. But then whenever I toured my college and whenever I got here, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. It was a great feeling.
Awesome.
So earlier today, you mentioned that you're a voice actress.
I did.
You like that's not many people are voice actresses. I want to hear a little bit about what that is and what that means to you and why you got started.
Yeah, okay. So at my church at home, they did this thing called In the Know, and they would do these videos every Sunday that would tell everybody about the weekly events at church and all that stuff. And they asked me to do it because I've done theater my entire life. My major right now is acting. And they were like, you have a really good voice. Like, we love that you're doing this. And the lady that was in charge of it, she's a voiceover actress. And she was like, Emily, I think you should really get started in it. You don't know where it could take you. It could be really cool. So I just jumped right in. She was like, this is the mic that you buy. This is the platform to use. And I've been doing it since 2020. And
Wow.
It is my favorite remote job of all time. It's amazing.
Like, are you on cartoons or is it like a voiceover of like a documentary? Like, what kind of things need a voiceover actress?
I haven't done a ton of like characters. I think when people hear the word voiceover actress, they think of like Mickey Mouse. I'm not Mickey Mouse. Like, don't get me wrong. I've done a couple kids shows, a huge thing. I just finished an app for a company that teaches kids English. I've done a lot of, companies in Brazil, they want to teach their kids English in school. So I've done a lot of exams for children, and it's like me reading the alphabet or me reading sentences for them, which is really cool.
Wow.
So I've done a lot of kid related things. I worked with Dunkin', which was an incredible opportunity.
Wait,
I did.
Dunkin' Donuts?
Yes, I did a marketing video for them.
Wow.
Cool.
And it was
Very
really
familiar
awesome.
with Duncan being from Boston, the Massachusetts area. That's sweet.
So like, I personally feel that in this new age of content, cartoons can be scaled. So like brands, I think, will be starting to make cartoons and characters to represent their brands because a cartoon character never gets a DUI. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
seriously.
true.
Yeah. So seriously, I think that we're going to see cartoons really becoming more frequent and just like all over the place. And they're already pretty established, but do you think that other people should become voice actors and actresses? Do you think there's a lot of work? Is it hard to find work? What do you think about just the entire industry of being a voice actor and actress?
Yeah, I absolutely think that everyone should do it because there's so many voices. There's such a need for it. There's so many companies want a specific voice for this. They want a specific voice for that. And it's also cool because the more you develop your skills, you can do, like, I have reels that I send out to companies for them to decide if I'm applying for like a kid documentary or like a commercial for a toy. I'll send them my child demo reel. And then if I'm applying for like a documentary or a commercial about like a serious disease that I'm
Sure.
going to do like my
Yeah.
older reel. So it's really easy to get started, and I think people should pursue it. I know I'm going to do it the rest of my life, and I'm going to get my family involved in it. So it's great.
I have a friend who's been saying that he wants to get into voice acting, so it's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. Tell him I'll help him out.
Yeah, no, I actually will. I mean, he's been saying he wants to do it for a little while now. So when did you start voice acting? And I guess I'm kind of interested in your background and like you mentioned your church and that was kind of your start with maybe like storytelling stuff. But
Absolutely.
But like what about like senior year of high school, and then take me into like going into college and like where your head was and what you were thinking about, what were you interested in, what did you see yourself becoming as a senior in high school? And also, with that being said, I'm like curious about when you started to gain like your following and like when your kind of personality changed from being just this individual to being maybe somebody that other people look up to.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So 2020, honestly, was a huge year for me because pandemic, as we know, everybody was like, oh, what is happening? And I was a junior in high school at the time. So I didn't finish my junior year of high school as we were all online. And whenever I was at home, this was when I kind of started getting into voiceover acting. So that was my job, which was an incredible gift because I didn't have to leave my house. And so I really got involved in that. And then I was on TikTok. I swore I wouldn't get TikTok. I was like, this is such a waste of time.
I was just like that.
Same
Yeah.
here,
No.
literally.
I was like, this is such a waste of time. I would talk about it at school with my friends. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, why are you guys
Right.
doing this?
That's like my dad when he would brag about having a flip phone still. And then when he got an iPhone,
Yes.
he just like fell in love with it.
Yes, exactly. So that was me. I was the dad of TikTok. I was like, I'm not doing this. This is wild. But then over quarantine, I just got so bored. I was just in my house all day. I was like, what am I doing? So I decided to cave in and get TikTok. And then I saw a video about Mamma Mia, and I was shook because that's my favorite movie. For those of you that don't know, such a great classic. 2008 blockbuster hit. Go watch it if you haven't already.
2008.
And
Classic.
it is. And that movie brings me so much joy. And so I saw a video about it and I was like, wait, this is so funny that somebody made a video about this. And so to pass the time, I was like, maybe I'll make a couple videos about this since it is my favorite movie.
Right.
And I was like, I'm just going to delete them before I go back to school. Like, no one's going to know, because my whole life I've really struggled with caring what other people think about me. And I was like, I have to be liked. I have to be this person that I wasn't, but
Right.
we'll get to that in a second. So made a couple of Mamma Mia TikToks. They did really well. And then I was
off
like,
the bat, like the first posts ever on the platform, they were good.
yeah, well, my TikTok account had like no followers. And I think the first video I made was like 400 views. And for me, I remember being like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
it's really funny looking back now
Right.
and being like, that was so many, but it was for me at the time.
Yeah, seriously.
So that was really cool. And then I just made a couple more, and then they started like really kicking off. And then it was really crazy. Like people that I didn't know were following me on Instagram and like commenting on my photos. And my friends, I remember I was on a trip to North Carolina with my best friends, and they were like, Emily, because at the time, like we all had.
Yeah, can you give us a timeline for this? Like,
Okay.
were you in college? Sorry, I kind of missed this. What year in your life was this?
Okay, so this was the summer going into senior year of high school.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you were still in high school.
Yes.
Like your hometown friends that you've grown up with.
Yes, which was a trip for them. They thought it was so funny that they're like, Emily's famous, like whatever. They big joke, like they thought it was really crazy. So yeah, so I was senior year, summer before about to hit my senior year. I went on a trip with my friends, and we were like on the way back, and my friends were like, Emily, you just 3,000 people just followed you on Instagram. Like you just hit 3K on Instagram. And I remember being like, that why? Like, why are people like, this is so weird. Like, I just make these fun videos, like whenever I'm bored, like in Mamma Mia. And then I started getting all these messages and DMs from, it was a lot of girls like me. And there were some guys too. And they were like, you're such an inspiration. Like they were like, well, I love this movie too, but I also like never want to post about it because I'm scared of what other people think. So like, that's so cool that you're doing this. And that was when I kind of realized, I was like, oh my gosh, like, is this a niche? Like, I follow these influencers, I can't speak. Influencers that were like, their niche was just like lifestyle and
Right.
fashion. But people are over here following me for Mamma Mia. I'm like, what did I just create? So super surreal experience. And then
With before we hop off of Mamma Mia real quick, can you define or just like tell me what Dynamo is in the Mamma Mia realm? Like I genuinely I'm not in on this niche, so I just want to know like where does the word come from it with like that niche?
okay. Yes, one of my most asked questions. I love it. So in the movie Mamma Mia, there's Donna and the Dynamos. And so Dynamo is in reference to the all-girl power band that sings the songs of ABBA in the movie. Cool. So that's what it means by dynamo. But,
oh my God, I just got chills.
but also, if you look up the dictionary definition of the word dynamo, it means a forceful, energetic individual. So I kind of ran with that word because I was like, it's basically saying you're a force to be reckoned with and you're someone that's full of energy and light. And I realized that that was the kind of person that I wanted to become. And I wanted to be able, if I could in any way, to inspire other people to also become. So now it's really cool. My whole brand is kind of your dynamo best friend because I just want people to realize that they're not alone and that they have somebody that is rooting for them in my corner of the internet, and like my platforms are a safe space for people. So that's a little bit about Dynamo and the reason that this collection with Pure World is called the Dynamo Collection. Beautiful.
I mean, what an incredible brand identity to start building. So you start to accumulate this following, and you know, just like the band in the movie, like you consider them like, you know, the dynamos, your community, and so that's what you would refer to your community as?
Yes, the dynamos.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's like kind of your start. What about like how does it progress? Like where does it go from there? And you were just in high school still, so what is it like to like what? Also, like I'm interested in why you chose to go to the college that you chose to go to.
Yeah, that's a great question. So before any of this happened with social media and the pandemic and everything, like I said, I've been doing theater my entire life. It's such a huge passion of mine, like storytelling, performing on stage, which honestly started doing children's shows at my church, which is so cool. So before the pandemic, I had full intentions to go to a conservatory style school for acting, like really want to get into film, TV, theater, all that stuff. And then I started with this Mamma Mia niche that I somehow had created and these people that were on board with the content I was making. And also another huge part of it, it's not just Mamma Mia. My favorite, and this kind of happened because of Mamma Mia, but my favorite style is dressing inspired by the 1970s fashion trends, which we see in the Mamma Mia movie a little bit. But that's like another part of the niche that I think people resonated with. And I'm also really passionate about sustainability, which we can get to.
Your shirt is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yes. It has bell sleeves for those of you that are listening. But yeah, so I'm super big on clothes, and that just became a really big passion of mine also. Because for so long, I had just tried to dress exactly how my other friends did because I didn't want to stand out at all. And so just the whole niche kind of created itself. And then basically went through senior year. It had a little bit of a following. It was like around, I remember it was Christmas of 2020 was when I hit 10K.
Wow. I love these metrics because it really does kind of measure.
Yeah.
Like we're able to see where your growth was and like where you were in that stage
How
of the.
How big of a high school is this? Like, was it a huge deal to have 10K, or was there like other influencers and other content creators in the high school, or were you kind of like, you know, separated from that? So
my high school, let's just say it was overcrowded. My graduating class was 700 people.
Nice. Wow.
So, but also, for those of you that don't know, I'm an introvert. So I had about 5 friends, and they're my best friends, and we went through high school together, and it was fun. So by no means do not get this picture of like people coming up to me in the hallway like, oh, Emily, like you're so fun. No. Like it was a very like low key thing.
Sure.
If people followed me about like 10 seconds later, they'd be like, whoa, but it wasn't like it wasn't anything like that of that gravity, but it was huge for me because for the first time I was like, oh my gosh, like this is becoming something a lot bigger than just me and just me making a couple TikToks whenever I'm bored.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a personal brand, and I got really excited to kind of run with it. So this was when I started really getting into like business strategies and influencer marketing. And I started watching these YouTube videos, and I remember like telling my mom, I was like, Mom, I can make money loving Mamma Mia and dressing in the 1970s, like fashion trends. Like what? Like I can make money doing what I love and sharing it with other people. And that was really crazy to me. So kind of ran with that. Senior year finished out, my social media wasn't like this, like I was saying, it's not this like thing that like preceded me, I guess.
Right.
But however, going into college, I definitely had a real fear because all my friends I had grown up with, they knew me before and after this whole social media thing started. But going into college, you meet people through Instagram.
Sure.
So I was terrified. I was like, these people are gonna, their first impression of me is gonna be, and I used to hate the word influencer because I felt like it had a negative connotation with somebody that's very self-obsessed, only likes taking pictures of themselves, like does everything just for content and doesn't live their life. So anytime my friends would be like, she's an influencer, I'd be like, don't say that. Like, don't. Like that's bad.
Such a triggering word. Like,
yes.
It's an influencer.
Yes. So I was very,
like, oh, what does she want to cut in front of the line then?
Yes. Yeah. So I was very much aware of that reputation, and I didn't want that to be me because that wasn't the brand that I wanted to build. Right. So going into college was interesting because whenever I posted on, we had like this page on Instagram where we could post for our college and be like, I'm going to this college and I am looking for a roommate. And so posting on that was a little terrifying because then people could see like my Instagram wasn't like my friends. You know, I had a bunch of these like reels and a bunch of this like all really interesting stuff that I loved doing, but it was different than everybody else. So, but then through Instagram, I met my roommate and best friend, shout out to you, Izzy, and still live with her. It's sophomore year. And so really good things started happening. And then got to college, you know, I was the Mamma Mia girl. I still am the Mamma Mia girl. But at college, welcome week, everybody was like, oh, you're the Mamma Mia. Like I took a picture for these people. They were like, can you take a picture for us? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, you're the Mamma Mia girl. And I was like, well, I suppose. So, and I'm like very awkward about that stuff. I'm not going to be like, yes, I am. Do you want a picture? Like, no, that's not me.
I'm the hemp guy. Yes. I was the hemp guy. I'm like, I don't even like hemp that much. Like it's, I guess.
I'm like, I watch it a few times a year, but people think it's like your personality trait. You understand. Yeah. They brand you before you can even introduce yourself or let a word out of your mouth. So that was a whole thing. And I definitely experienced people would want to take pictures with me, or I started to realize in college who wanted to be friends with me for a shout out on my story and who wanted to be friends with me because they love Emily Stevens.
Sure, yeah.
Which was, I had never experienced that before. I was talking to one of my friends about that and they're like, I've literally never thought about that. Like having your job be something that you're like, can I make real friends because of my job? And I was like, yeah, I guess it's a whole thing, but it was a very interesting experience.
Totally. What have you learned to like kind of combat that? And would you have any advice for people who are kind of like thinking in a similar realm of how they're maybe going into school with a small following or like some sort of following and they're nervous about it, you know?
Yeah.
Do you have any advice?
Yeah. So also for reference, at this time when I went into college, I was at like 20K. So, you know, not like crazy, but also not like couple hundred, you know? So
anyone with 20K right now listening is probably like, yeah, they understand exactly what 20K is. We have 20K.
Yes.
We
Your
have
world
20K.
Does. Yeah. I would say it's just super important to get to know people, let them get to know the real you. You know, you have to kind of pay attention to who's around you and what they want from you. Like, do they want to hang out with you without taking pictures with you or like filming a video, or do they want to hang out with you because they love your presence and like you guys are bonding and becoming friends? Sure. So it's definitely a process. Literally, if you had told me I'd be giving advice on something like that junior year of high school, I would have laughed at you because it really takes like just a little bit of time and dedication to like completely change your life. So it's a whole thing.
What advice would you have for somebody who's young and wants that kind of following?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, actually,
find your niche.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
No, we've got our ideas, but like from you've done it so organically.
Yeah. Which honestly, I never want to be a person that's not humble. Like that is always like my goal. So saying like I'm proud of myself sometimes is really hard for me because I don't want people to ever be like, wow, she thinks she's all that. But like I am proud of myself for the organic qualities and the community that has been built. But the only reason that I think that organic of a community and this special of a following has happened for me is because I never went into it wanting a following.
Right.
I went into it just being excited to post about something that I love, because people can tell when you're posting something that is just like not you, or like you want to be like somebody else. I wanted to be like myself finally, because I hadn't done that my whole life. And I think that's why it turned out the way it did.
Fiery passion.
Yes.
Like
got it.
passion, you know? And it's like
people can see it.
Literally passion. And people can be passionate about more, like they don't have to have one lane. It doesn't have to be hemp or Mamma Mia. It's that like, maybe it's just an innate thing that you're born with, but maybe you can learn how to just be truly passionate and curious and bold enough to do what you want to do.
Yeah, that's the key. And I think in regards to the niche, people are going to tell you like, you don't need a niche, just do what you want. But I'd say in this day and age, when it feels like almost everybody either wants to be an influencer or knows an influencer, just using that word for, I guess, to describe the job. I prefer the term content creator, but both of them I think can be interchangeable.
We consider them different. Like, we can consider them differently because there are some influencers who aren't necessarily talented content creators.
That's
and for brands like ourselves, we're working with two different lanes of like, I don't know, experience, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. And oftentimes awesome content creators don't really have the influence as well, right? Like, and they're just skilled at creating and things like that. I had one question too about like the Mamma Mia niche and other influencers in it. Like, are you kind of at like the top of the hierarchy, or like, do you know other
the pyramid? Right.
Like, do you know other influencers? Like, obviously you've probably had your collabs and things like that. I know in the 70s fashion, there's probably more influencers, but in the Mamma Mia one specifically, like, what's up with like that space? Are there many powerful influencers like yourself, or?
So definitely in regards to 1970s fashion, I have seen a lot. People, that's a huge thing. People make really cool outfit videos and go all out. I will say for Mamma Mia though specifically, there's only, and I think I merged the two for me, but there's only one other creator that does what I do. And it's really cool because we're actually best friends. Like, we're actually really good friends. I've met her in person. Her name's Marissa. She's incredible. She went to Greece this summer. So like lived out Mamma Mia, basically. She is amazing. And it's really cool because I feel like for other niches, maybe, I don't really know because I'm not in them, but maybe influencers compete for like better pictures with better brands. But it's like me and Marissa we kind of feed off each other's energy. Like, she went to ABBA Voyage and I'm cheering her on because that's incredible. And I can't wait till I do that one day. And she's over here like cheering on the Dynamo collection. And so it's an incredible friendship that I think the Dynamos can see. And it's really cool. And I definitely hope to do more amazing things with her in the future. But that's the only other influencer that is in this niche. Yeah.
It's super interesting.
Yeah.
When we talked about, what was it, 70s fashion?
Yes.
Yeah. It sparked this like idea that we were talking about the other day, and it was about fashion and how old trends of fashion come back, and we have seen them come back, and we see you can dress great in 70s fashion while I could dress great in 80s fashion, and we could probably be in the same venue. You know what I mean? Like, we could be together and look great, and people might be like, oh, those two people are dressed really uniquely, but they would probably think we look great.
Yeah.
And so things going out of style, I'm wondering if things will no longer go out of style eventually. Like all of the styles that have ever been will eventually become revered, and people like appreciate them because they're timeless.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
It is funny how they come back. Like, I feel like with a lot of the things I'll wear, like whether it's like my Birkenstock type sandals or like jean shorts, like my aunt or dad will give me a hard time. They'll be like, oh, I remember people in my day wore jean shorts and things like that. And I'm just like, hey, it's coming back, you know, like trust me on this one. And
That's
it's
so funny. Literally, I remember it was senior year. Yeah, senior year. I turned 18 and my parents, we went out for my birthday dinner and they got me ABBA Gold, the record, and I was so happy. And we were there with my grandparents and my dad was like, you know what? I think Emily's a hippie. And my whole family was like, well, yeah. So I'm definitely grateful to have parents that are not like shaming me for wanting to dress different than literally anybody else my age, or like explore my own style. I'm really grateful that they're supportive of that because I know some people's parents wouldn't be, but it's also just interesting because I think they just watch the things that I do and they're like, okay, like they never could have planned that or thought of it, and neither have I. So it's crazy.
That's super funny. Yeah. Like the jobs we do now, they're so different than
Oh my gosh, yeah.
the jobs our parents do and the jobs our parents probably imagined us doing. But
So true.
it's so great to have the support from the fam and stuff like that. I definitely agree.
Yeah, and speaking of jobs, like one thing that I found interesting was that back in the day, you would work for a company for almost life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And now we see a turnaround of 2 to 3 years, and people are, you know, they switch different companies, probably switching into different roles. People become a little bit more generalists.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting. So what do you see for yourself after you know, like what year are you in college, and like what are you thinking for your future right now?
So in regards to the whole job thing, whenever older people ask me what my job is, I tend to just be like, brand marketing strategy, content creation. Like I don't, because telling them I'm an influencer or having them see it's just very confusing for them, which literally, this is what's crazy. Like when I was in middle school, this job didn't exist. It was, you were a blogger and maybe you got paid. So that's why I'm like, if I'm 19 right now and I have this job, multiple jobs, but influencing and content creation is one of them, I don't even know what my job is going to be in 5 years because 5 years ago, this didn't exist. So I'm as curious as you guys are for what I'll be doing then. But right now, my major in college is acting because I have had a passion for that my whole life. And so I want to be able to have the training to audition for films and theater and just have that background.
That would be so sick.
Yeah, I think so too. I would love to be like in a music video one day, and I've been on film sets. I was nominated for Best Actress at our past like Lipscomb 5-minute film festival as a freshman. So that was really incredible and super fun to do. But so I think definitely acting is a part of it because that's what my degree is in. But I think what I do want to pursue that it connects what I've been doing with content creation and like my niche is I love to be like a creative director, whether that's for my own sustainable clothing line that I create, which is definitely a goal I have, or maybe it's freelancing with other companies. But I feel like it'd be so cool to be able to direct content and really create art. If it can be in the 70s niche, that'd be super sick. But I just love the flexibility that my job has right now, that I can work with you guys. I can work with other companies. I can work with all these people, and we all have the same vision for just making the world a better place.
So do you want to be in a movie?
I think that would be so cool. I mean, I'd be so down.
And would you look for that in Los Angeles?
Oh, maybe. I mean, honestly, it depends more, I think, like what the movie is and what I'd be doing in it than where, but anywhere.
What are the genres that you would want to act for?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I love me a good rom-com. Perhaps
Cool.
like a little movie musical. I mean,
Sure.
Mamma Mia changed my life, so that'd be amazing. But I also, my taste in movies is literally rom-com, movie musical, or like super psychological, scary thriller. There's no in between. So I'd love to do something like thriller, like exciting, like action.
That'd be sweet.
I feel like it'd be so cool I also love Criminal Minds. So something like that. Like, I just think women FBI agents are just so cool. And I'd love to do something like that.
And so how do these colleges at your, how do these courses at your college, like prepare you for acting? Like what type of things are you doing? Like how can they prepare you to go act in a psychological thriller? Like that seems crazy, you know?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now I'm in this class called Meisner, which for those of you that have acting experience, it's a man named Stanford Meisner created this certain technique for acting where you do repetition exercises and it focuses on bringing out real emotion. So I'm in a lot of classes. I was in one last semester called Voice and Diction that's all about using your voice and how to use it healthily, how to get the full potential of it when you're creating a character or just doing a monologue. So lots of courses like that. I'm in beginning directing. So I'm going to direct my first scene from a play, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's cool about my degree in the school that I'm at specifically is I'm involved in all areas. So like, I know how to hang a light. Right now we're building the set for a musical. Like I know how to sew my own costume. I know how to fix things. I also know how to act. So it's like I've gotten this whole, I'm thankful for this education that is well-rounded rather than just get up on stage and read some lines.
Totally.
And I've gotten really involved with the film department at our school, which has been super fun. Like just being on set is like so unlike anything else. And it's so much fun. It's just like, I mean, not just like, but similar to being on set for shooting clothes. And just like whenever I go out and take pictures, it's so much fun. So definitely those kind of courses have been really helpful.
That's super awesome. Is this like the most popular major at your college or not really?
So my college is actually the #1 school in Tennessee for business. So that's the #1 thing, which I would love to get more involved in business classes just because we all know I'm super interested in that. Right now I'm actually in a sustainability class because I have to take a gen ed science and it is changing my life. Like I'm now using like only reusable cups when I go to Starbucks. Like we have reusable rags and makeup wipes in our dorm room. Like really learning. We're reading this book called The Story of Stuff and it's incredible. Like part of the reason I was so attracted to work with Pure World in the first place and like get the backpack that I have like senior year that changed everything for me is because I recognized how important it was to have a company. You can get a backpack anywhere, but it's like this company, you know that your backpack is changing the lives of people. So definitely learning more about that has been such a gift. So acting is not the most popular major at my college, but the entire, like I'm in Nashville. I'm surrounded by all these people that are doing what I do or doing other things. And that is such a gift. Like acting is a big part of the college, but it's not the major thing. But I think the other elements of it make it incredible.
Sure.
Could we talk a little bit about Nashville?
Yes.
Because like
Anytime.
This place is insane. I mean, it's interesting. We've had a little bit of an interesting time here, and Rob alluded to it in the beginning of this podcast. Basically, we got off the plane, got our rental car, first red light. We saw there was this black Suburban revving their engine next to us, kind of trying to either challenge us to a race or intimidate us. And when the light turned green, they went 0 to 40 and hit a curb and then swerved into the other lane, and it was a head-on collision.
That's insane.
First 8 minutes, like on the road in Nashville.
How do you guys feel?
I feel curious.
Yeah, I feel curious, and I was just like shook at the moment, and I felt bad for the person like in the other car who wasn't involved because they were just going on with their day, and then this mean person, you know, was just like driving crazy. And
Nashville
so
drivers are insane.
Well, that was I did notice that. I mean, I've driven around this country multiple times, and people drive fast here. Like getting onto the highway is more difficult here than in Massachusetts, for sure, because people are driving fast in the slow lane, like in the right lane, like they're driving pretty fast. So it's hard to merge. But I mean, that's our experience. That's the traffic of Nashville. Let's talk a little bit deeper about like the actual culture here and some of the places and what it's like to go to school here. Would you recommend other people come here? And what kinds of people do you recommend to come here? Just like, you know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think anybody and everybody should go to school in Nashville. And maybe I'm biased because I haven't experienced college anywhere else, but I think if you're an arts major, it would be incredible for you because so many people here are creatives. Like literally the barista at a coffee shop me and my friend went to just got off American Idol. Like that's the normalcy in Nashville. And I'm from Florida, for those of you that don't know, and it's not really like that there. It's a lot of people that have moved down to want to be close to the beach. And here, I mean, obviously Nashville has a reputation for country music capital of the world. Like there's so many people here, and it's been crazy in college because I think like one in four of like all my friends, like I have so many friends that are breaking into the music industry. Like instead of like frat parties, we go to album release parties. Like that is the culture here. Like instead of these big football games and stuff, we go to house parties. Like people throw concerts and bands play in their backyard.
It's so sick. Is there anything going on tonight or tomorrow night that you could let us know about?
I mean, I could ask around.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. But
it's so fun.
Okay, all right. What about the food?
So good. Truly, if you love barbecue, obviously you'll love Nashville because there's so many restaurants that specialize in that. But I've been to some bomb taco places. There's this place called Tequila.
You can name drop.
Oh, okay.
Name drop.
Then I will name drop. Tequila de Sol. Get their barbecue ranch salad. So good. Edley's Barbecue.
Did you say what was the first name of that? The first word?
Tequila de Sol.
Tequila. Okay, so it's not a taco place.
No, it is. They have tacos, burritos.
Okay.
But they also have the salad that I love.
So is it like Mexican?
Yes.
Tennessee Mexican? Like we've got like Cali Mex or something. There's Tex Mex.
Yeah.
Is this like Tennessee Mex and what, what is that?
Yeah. I mean, it's just tacos. I think they're good. I'm not a food specialist, so I don't know how it should taste, but it's been good to me.
I don't know my geography perfectly either, but does Tennessee border Mexico? No.
No.
Okay.
We're a landlocked state.
Okay. We're not that south.
No.
Interesting question.
Well, dude, I love culture, and I love experiencing culture hands-on, but I just don't have enough time to study maps.
Right.
I guess like
it's all good.
Not a geography guy, more of like a culture guy. And that's why I'm interested about like a large amount of Mexican restaurants here. But honestly, how would you categorize the food of like Tennessee?
Well, okay.
Barbecue?
I can't speak for all of Tennessee. I guess I would say barbecue because there is a lot of that. But I can't speak for all of Tennessee. But Nashville has incredibly diverse food options. There's sushi places, there's barbecue, there's Mexican. Like they have so much to offer.
Yeah, I mean, that's like Boston and New York too.
Yeah.
And the country, I guess, in general. Like the United States, we really do have a mixing pot of everything.
Yep.
Okay. Talked about food. Talked about a little bit of the music scene, the people. Anything else? Anything else notable about Nashville?
I'm sure there's a lot.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot, yeah.
I'm just happy to be in a new city. That's one of my favorite things. It's like I recently just visited Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I thought that was so cool.
Wow.
It's so different than any other city I've ever been to. And so same with this one. Like although it looks really big and kind of like with the skyscrapers, like that kind of just reminds you of other cities. I think there's a lot of key differences about this one and kind of make it unique and fun. And I'm excited to like last night we didn't get to go check out the Broadway, like the downtown Nashville, but hopefully tonight or tomorrow we will. And I don't know what to expect, honestly.
Oh,
like,
good luck.
Yeah, right. Like I am little anxious and excited to see what it's like over there. It seems like one of the crazier parts of the country for sure.
Well, it's the #1 capital for bachelorette parties, more than Las Vegas. So what do you think about that? That is an attribute of Nashville that is interesting.
It is bachelorette central, let me tell you. Like, I don't know if I would consider myself a local. I mean, I have lived here for 2 years, so I guess technically I could be. But me and my friends, we like avoid Broadway at all cost at night because it's just crazy party buses. Everybody has their bachelorette here, which, I mean, it looks fun for them. Very disco cowgirl-esque, which can be really fun. But, I thought, okay, they just go crazy at night. Then I surprised my best friend for her birthday and we went to brunch in downtown. It's like 11 a.m. and there are people on these party buses. Like they never stop. So that's where the money in Nashville is coming from, the
Sure,
tourism and the
right.
Bachelorette Central, but it's definitely built a name for itself.
I mean, the party life. You're living in a party city.
Yeah.
Do you party a lot?
What do you define by party?
Like, well, you mentioned like album releases and like a
Yeah.
party, like with live music, house party type style. Like that sounds so fun. And I think like if I were a junior, senior in high school and I'm like trying to decide what college to go to, you know, you're either going to somewhere in New York City where you're not going to be going to house parties because everybody lives in tiny apartments.
Yeah.
Or I went to school in the suburbs, but the suburbs of Boston, but it was so expensive that everybody had to live on campus because we couldn't afford to live outside of campus because it was so expensive. And so we were only in dorms. Like, what is the makeup of your school, and like what do people do for fun?
Concerts.
That's so cool. That's so unique. Yeah.
That is like, if it's a Friday night, we're probably at a concert.
Like a country music concert?
So I personally,
That's a great question, Rob.
I personally am not a country music girl.
Yeah, me either.
Like, I'm not a country
But I'm
music
not a
fan,
girl.
which is ironic because it is the country music capital of the world. But I definitely like other music. I mean, ABBA is obviously my favorite group. That's very 70s, but there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, last Friday night, I was DJing for the Gimme Gimme Disco. So it's like you could be doing literally anything here, but concerts are primarily it. And then just honestly, it's like whatever our friends are planning to do. Like they have cool stuff here. We discovered there's like a coffee shop where you can go and drink coffee or get any kind of beverage, and they have just walls of board games.
That's fun.
And you can go
That's
with a
so
group of
cool.
friends and just
Yeah.
play board games all night. And so, you know, it's not the most like wildest. I mean, you definitely can be if you're in that group. Like you definitely can find the wildest parties and the wildest events to attend. But there's such a great mix for everyone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I am also not a huge country music fan. Like
Yeah,
I
sorry.
know that Nashville has like the Country Music Hall of Fame or something
do.
like that. And I've seen like I saw a review that said if you're not a country music fan, you need to go to this museum.
Oh,
They
interesting.
said you like if you like country music, you should go. But if you don't like country music, you really should go, and you should like learn about like the history or the culture of country music. And so I think we would probably benefit from like doing something like that because I already I don't love country music, but for the culture.
For the culture.
With that being said, though, I wasn't. Because I don't like country music that much, and I know that Nashville is the country music capital of the world, it almost wasn't on my radar.
That's how
because
I
of
was.
that.
Yeah.
So how would you speak to somebody who feels that way about going to school or even just coming for a visit?
There was a real anxiety I had when I was looking at the Instagram page of all the people going to my college, and all of them were like, I'm looking for a roommate and I love country music. Because I was like, oh no, am I going to make any friends that don't? And literally like there's not even anybody in my friend group that likes country music, so I guess it worked out. But I think there's a lot to do here. That's such a small part. That is like the tourism. That's what people I think want you to associate Nashville with, which is awesome. Like I may not like it, but it's incredible. It's still such a gift to the world and such a great thing. So even if you love country music or you hate it, there's something in Nashville for you. Like there's so many more things that Nashville makes up. I didn't mention this earlier, but another thing me and my friends do so often is thrift. The thrifting here is incredible, probably because famous country music or famous music artists that don't wear their clothes anymore.
Yeah, they can only wear it like so many times.
Give
And then
yes.
in the photos, they can't wear the same outfit every time.
Of course not. So they give their clothes to where me and my friends go sift through. So you end up, my closet since moving here has had the most insane glow up. So it's just
That is
incredible.
sick. I love that.
And you'll notice just being here, everybody has a style.
Right.
So I came from a town where we all dressed like the same. I mean, not exactly the same, but trends were very like, you wouldn't see somebody wearing like a dress and go-go boot to church. But like, I mean, I do now. But before that, that didn't really happen. So But when you're here, you walk down the street and people are wearing these pants that you've never seen before, and they're so cool. And it's awesome because it's also a great conversation starter, like to make friends. You're like, I love your outfit. Where'd you get it? And people are super open to being like that. Like I was thrifting one time and I told this girl that I liked her earrings, and she was like, oh, I got them from this place down the road. They were $6. Go. And I was like, great. And then me and my friend literally went, got this orange bracelet. Like, it's just the coolest group of people, and the coolest businesses thrive here as well. And I love it.
I love that. And I'm excited to explore an adventure with you in the Nashville area. And for those of you who are listening or watching, you should go check out that video because you're going to see us in action, like out exploring and adventuring. With that being said, I think we're almost ready to wrap up. Are there any other topics that you guys want to speak about?
I mean, we could talk a little bit about the Dynamo collection.
We should definitely talk about the Dynamo collection. So for those of you who don't know, Emily and Pure World, we've been working together for how long now? When was the first time you got a bag?
Okay.
How long ago was that?
So this is my Pure World origin story. So I was a senior in high school, and I think I saw an influencer that I follow post in a Pure World bag, and I was like, that is the cutest backpack I've ever seen. I go on the website. I'm like, oh my gosh. I read the story about how you give so many jobs to people in Nepal. It's all sustainable, handcrafted. Like, yes. You guys had a giveaway for a bag. And so I was like, oh, I'll enter the giveaway. I never win giveaways, but I won this one. And I got a bag and I just was obsessed with it. And I got it beginning of senior year of high school. And I still use that bag. I mean, obviously I'm going to start using my Dynamo collection one now, but I still use that bag. It's been like more than 3 years, I think. And it's like in incredible condition. It's been with me on so many adventures, literally, in my life. And I don't know, it was also one of the first products I think that I got that I realized like it's a normal product that is doing so much good. And maybe it's a little bit more money than your average like little Jansport backpack from Walmart, but the impact that it's making and the impact that it can have on other people and just the message in general, like shout out to Kaylin, one of my really good friends. She used my code and got herself a Pure World backpack for this year at school. And it's so cool to just see it on my campus and see the bag and how incredible it is. And just the whole, I feel like people have to change their mindset to realize the story behind something versus just what is convenient, because society wants us to just fall into this convenience and spend more money, when if we do a little bit more research, we can end up with something that's life-giving. Yeah.
Sure. And with that being said, there are all of those attributes that are so important about the bag itself, but those attributes are what attract the people, the community. You know, like when somebody is interested in this bag and you see someone else on the street with one of the same, Pure World bag, you almost are able to understand where their head is at, where what they care about, where their values are, and the likelihood of you two bonding and like becoming friends is much higher because you have that token of we appreciate and support two of the same things. And the community side of it is really is good too.
Yeah, and I get asked where I got it all the time, which is a great conversation starter.
Sure. So Pure World, we're starting to create this program with partners where we are able to design dedicated collections and bags for these partners, and we are as equitable as possible. We are like 50-50 partners on these collections. So when you support them, you're supporting both of us equally. Yay.
What does the collection entail specifically?
Okay, so overall, it's called the Dynamo Collection. Like we talked about earlier, just such a great mantra for people. And we have a backpack. We have a crossbody bag. If you maybe don't need a backpack, you're not in school, but you want something to go grocery shopping with, go thrift shopping, just your normal everyday life. And then we have a laptop sleeve, which I'm excited about because I need a new laptop sleeve. And it's a great size because it fits. I have a smaller MacBook Pro, but if you have the bigger size, it'll fit that too, and any other kind of computer. So we have 3 items in our collection: the backpack, crossbody, and laptop sleeve.
And if you buy them all together, you get a nice discount.
You do, you save a lot. So buy them all together.
Yeah, right? It's funny. Yeah, we've gone through a lot of challenges to put out this collection.
Oh my.
This collection was supposed to release over a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Basically what ended up happening was...
This is the tea.
Yeah, this is the tea, and Ahijah's behind the camera right now sewing the patches on these bags. It's he's coming over to show you guys, actually.
This is for you lovely people.
Yeah.
Doing the work.
Basically what happened was we got the Dynamo patches to put on the bags to bring the entire brand of this collection together, and the patch manufacturer went into our artwork and changed the artwork, and they misspelled Emily's last name.
They took the H out of my last name. So my name is Emily Stevens, but it's spelled with a PH, and they took the H out. This is what gets me. This is what boggles my mind, is that they didn't take out the E, the beginning of my name. They didn't take out the S, the end of my name. They said, let's pick a random letter in the middle of her name, and maybe she won't notice.
She doesn't need it.
Yeah, forget the H.
It completely changed your name.
No, but yeah, I'm a new person. This is a new brand for me. But yeah.
Steppins collection.
Yes, the Steppins collection. It's all new. But I literally got it in the mail. I was so hyped. I was like, my collection with Pure World. So excited. I open it. I look at the patch. I read it. And I'm like, no. And then I texted Jack and I was like, hey, we might have a problem.
You were the first one to notice it wasn't Jack.
Yes, because then Jack was like, oh my word.
You're like, maybe it's just this one?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah,
It's
Jack was
all
like,
of them.
no, it's literally every single patch. I was like, okay, so what does this mean?
I thought it was my fault. I was like, at the end of the day, basically everything that goes wrong in your company is your fault. So, except for this, though, to be honest.
No, this was not his fault.
I thought this was my fault. I thought, oh my God, I didn't proofread the file that I submitted. No, it turns out I submitted the correct spelling of your name, but this manufacturer just edited the artwork. So that's what caused the delay. But they are here, and they are here to stay, and we're really excited about them.
We got it all fixed. We got new patches, and these have an H, so it has my name spelled right.
The Dynamo collection. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. I think there's like one more topic we should transition to, and we hit on it maybe a little bit earlier, but like sustainability and fast fashion and sort of your mindset on that, and your mindset on that and kind of where it is at in today's world in 2022.
Yeah, so I definitely think thrifting is making a huge comeback. Maybe it's because I just live in Nashville, but thrifting is it's kind of a common thing now. Whenever people are like, oh, it's thrifted, it has a more positive connotation than someone being like, oh, I can't tell them that my clothes are name brand. Like, I get excited to tell people, yeah, I thrifted this. It makes it harder sometimes as a content creator when people are like, can you link it? And I'm like, no,
Yeah,
but
this is a one of one.
yeah, I'm like, oh man, like I wish I could. But yeah, senior year of high school, I was in AP research, and for that class, you have to conduct your own research and write a huge thesis and do a 20-minute presentation on a topic of your choice, like a research question of your choice. And I chose, what is the awareness of the teens in my school and in my area on thrifting and sustainability and fast fashion? And it was so much fun. I did get a 5 on it, not to flex or anything, but it was super fun. And I learned a lot through that process, made me really motivated to buy secondhand, whether it was my clothes or other elements I could. And then right now I'm in this sustainability class, and I'm learning about like water and how we've got to save water, and how just in general, like
Cotton takes,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Cotton takes like 10 times more water than hemp.
Yes.
And
so,
acres. Like, so by finding some materials that are more resource efficient, that's sustainable too.
Yeah. And I think another thing too is like, maybe it's not even that people are trying to shop fast fashion. It's that they're not aware of what it causes and how that can be prevented and how there are more better options. Like I have online thrifting apps that I tell people about, and it's like these clothes that they want to purchase off these fast fashion websites that their workers aren't being paid any money. They're in unsafe conditions. There's so many issues with it, because if you're buying a shirt for $5, how much do you think the maker of that shirt is getting? Probably maybe cents.
Yeah.
And so it's a concept that people have to learn about. They have to be educated. I had to be educated. I never would have known. So I definitely promote that. I don't work with fast fashion companies, which is different than some other people maybe in my niche, is that, you know, these companies offer you a lot of money to do a haul or a reel in their outfits. But I'm like, I don't want to be a part of the mission of whatever they're supporting. And so there are different websites. There's a website called Good On You. I think it's Good On You or Good For You. And you can look up a brand and see how sustainable it is. Like the website has rated it, which is really cool if you're like trying to research a company and you want to know if you should purchase from it. But yeah, I think it's really interesting. I am by no means like Miss Sustainability. Like I definitely need to save more water and electricity. And my whole life isn't like, I don't like grow my own tomatoes and do all this stuff for myself, because it is hard. I am in a college dorm right now, but just little ways. Like I just purchased reusable makeup wipes and I wash them instead of buying cotton balls every time I go to the store. And we use reusable rags in our dorm room instead of buying paper towels. So there's little ways that you can do it. And maybe some ways might be it costs a little bit more, like buying sustainable, like recycled denim jeans. Maybe it's going to cost a little bit more than your normal jeans, but it's a whole mindset shift. And our generation, I think, wants that, like that fast,
right,
that instant gratification. They want that like super quick fix, that like buying online, whatever they saw, the latest TikTok trend. And it's just remembering that if we take a step back and think about it and think about how much we're actually going to wear that. And I love secondhand shopping because you're not like, maybe you're not completely fixing the entire cycle of fast fashion, but you're lengthening the cycle that garment gets by re-wearing it again. And that is better than buying something brand new that just costs so much oil and water and everything to produce and just sending it right back into a landfill. But that's for a whole other podcast episode.
Thank you so much, Emily. Emily, you want to tell the listeners who do not follow you already where they can find you?
Sure. Listeners, you can find me at Emily G. Stevens with an H on Instagram, TikTok. I'm on Pinterest. I love Pinterest. YouTube, I post weekly college vlogs if you're into that. My friends are super fun and they're just a great time. There will be a vlog of this experience too up. But yeah, you can find me at Emily G. Stevens if you love this kind of content.
Yeah, that's well said. And definitely everyone give her a follow. One of my favorite things about her account and kind of the reason we're in this room, collabed with Pure World and everything is like you keep it real. Like as an influencer, a lot of influencers, try to portray that perfect lifestyle like you might have mentioned earlier. And so I appreciate how you keep it real on Instagram and showing that not every day is like a win, and that things happen. And so yeah, I think that is, great character to show on social media. And that's what Pure World does as well. Like we keep it real with you guys. So I think
thank you so much.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
And thank you all for watching. You know who we are. See you on the next one.
Bye.